Disclaimer: Lore Olympus is a retelling slash reimagining of the Greek story of Hades and Persephone. Therefore, their character chart placement is dependent on their actions in the webtoon and not on their history. Thank you. If you would please, imagine the offspring between beauty and war. You obviously already know the answer, and it's both surprising and not. With these two rather opposites comes love, or Eros, the god of love, which is our subject today. So let's analyze Cupid with a little more edge, the god of love, Eros. Eros appears very early on, and actually appears to be more of a villain. When Aphrodite hears that Hades thinks that Persephone is prettier than her, she is clearly upset, but her reaction is a little overboard. She calls in her son Eros, and purposely gets a young goddess blackout drunk, then trapping her in the car of Hades. Now, you'd expect a person, or a god, that did an action like that would be vile, or even evil. But we don't get to think that. In fact, we're made sure to believe that Eros is a good person. Even though he basically kidnapped someone. I'm not into this. I'm not happy with myself. I'm so uncomfortable right now. Ma, what the heck are we doing? I left a perfectly good orgy for this. I thought you had an actual emergency. It's late. I'm cold. Look at this girl. She's like the personification of a frickin' cinnamon roll. An adorable pink cinnamon roll. Why are you jealous of a cinnamon roll? Let's just take her back to Artemis and tell her you're feeling a bit more deranged than usual. Eros is clearly against this. If we ignore that orgy part, he's uncomfortable, he's not happy, or into what's going on. And he even calls out his mother for what she wants to do. I'm pretty sure that breaking into someone else's car is a crime. And it's not very respectful. And when Eros hears Aphrodite's plan, he responds, "Fresh hell. I am so embarrassed for you right now. Mom, you seem to have such a distorted view of people these days. When did you stop seeing the best in people? When did you forget about kindness? When did you forget about love?" While a weirdly beautiful statement, it does seem a little hypocritical. When did you forget about kindness? Eros, you kidnapped a young goddess and placed her into the car of a 2,000-year-old god. I wouldn't exactly call that kind. But, of course, motivation is also important. So why was Eros doing something he was clearly against? It's because of his dear old mother, Aphrodite. This goes past a good son helping his mom, and actually goes into the realm of blackmail. Yay! We hear directly from Aphrodite. "Check that sassy attitude, Mr. Man. You still owe me big time after that bullcrap you pulled with Psyche. You want to see her, right?" And that brings us to Psyche, the reason that Eros is helping his mother doing all this illegal stuff. I mentioned her very briefly during my Aphrodite video, but let's take a look at the whole story, because the story with Psyche encapsulates Eros very well. Aphrodite hears that the mortals are claiming there is a woman who is more beautiful than me. So, like a good son, or like a hitman, Eros asks for a name, in which she states, "Psyche. Remember, I want you to make her fall in love with the ugliest creature you can find." So, Eros flies down to the mortal realm, finds a baby pig, an adorable baby pig, mind you, and takes that so Psyche would fall in love with that. But Eros finally sees Psyche. He understands why people think she's so beautiful, but more importantly, he sees the horrible life that she's living. Please don't cry. It makes my job harder. And when he pulls his bow back, he hesitates. He's shaking. He feels sorry for Psyche, eventually sparing her from falling in love with the pig. However, he does fulfill his side of the deal. During Psyche's engagement party, Eros comes down looking a lot more like his father than his mother, taking Psyche, and when someone asks, "Who are you?" he responds, "The ugliest creature you've ever seen." But that's kind of weird, right? Sure, I mean, he currently doesn't look like the prettiest god ever, but Eros is objectively attractive. Nothing you can say can make me think he's unattractive. Nothing physically, that is. So, I may have lied at the beginning of this video. Eros doesn't mean love. Well, it's not as broad as just love. In fact, there are many types of love. The English language doesn't have the words for these types of love, but we get to see these types of love as Eros' siblings. Mania, Pragma, Philota, Ludus, Philia, Agape, and Storge. Very sorry if I pronounced their names, but these are actually the various types of love, from obsessive love to friendship love. But Eros is romantic or passionate love, the type of love that you normally expect in a romantic relationship. Cool, but what does that have to do with him calling himself the ugliest creature they've ever seen? Thanks to media, well, mainly rom-coms and the power of love, we often see that love is a great, pure, and powerful thing. But I think the message that Eros is trying to get across is that romantic love can be beautiful, but it can also be horrid, ugly, and violent. It can hurt people. Love can be ugly. And that's not just me preaching about love. After Psyche adjusts to her life with Eros, believing he's a human and pink, she convinces Eros to let her bring her sisters over, which was a massive mistake. Out of jealousy or out of some weird, twisted form of caring, her sisters kind of yell at her. "Psyche, I have to be honest with you. First, this mystery man pays some creature to abduct you from your own wedding party. Then he teaches you how to read and write, which is absolutely disgraceful. And another thing, this man has convinced you to be with him? In a weird way, it's caring, but still, Psyche responds with, but he's nice to me. He has a handsome and gentle face, and when we talk, I feel like he's actually listening to me. He never hits or scolds me. He says that he loves, and is cut off by your sisters. Psyche, don't be a fool! You don't know his name. He won't even let you outside. He doesn't love you. He's clearly some sort of evil wizard." Eventually, they give Psyche a dagger to kill Eros. That's extreme, right? Well, it is, but Psyche goes through with it. And she accidentally wakes Eros up. He's devastated. "Psyche? What is that? How could you not trust me? I don't understand what's happening. I needed you, but I can't stand to look at you." So heartbroken, Eros flees and goes down to the mortal, and goes on what we call in the business a killing spree, eventually killing 300 mortals without a permit. Which leads us back to love. Love being horrid, ugly, and violent. When love and trust is broken, it can be devastating and hurt more than the people that are in the relationship. It can hurt a lot of people. That's why he's the ugliest creature. Not because he's disobeying his mom, not because he's stealing a woman, but because there's nothing more ugly than love. Anyways, that brings us to the present, where we see Eros go to Artemis and Persephone to apologize, even bringing apology donuts. And then we see a rather strange friendship blossom out of nowhere. It could be that Persephone is just really good at making friends. Or maybe that Eros was feeling really sorry for what he did, but to apologize even further, Eros takes Persephone shopping for clothes, buying her all the clothes that she could want, and making her feel heard, even hearing about her secret crush on Hades. I'm getting the impression that you didn't have such a terrible time with the king of the underworld. I know, you have responsibilities. What? Come on, I'm not gonna tell anyone. And when she responds, he just makes me feel important. Eros responds with, "You don't feel important?" which underlines his main role in Lore Olympus, acting as a confidant to Persephone. Whenever she has a problem or something she can't share with anyone, she shares it with Eros. When Persephone spills her crush to Artemis, Eros comes flying. I sensed an admission of a crush, so I came as fast as I could. Someone just admitted they have a crush and I need to get involved. And when Eros wants to know some details, she bums him out by planning on crushing all her feelings deep inside of her and letting them wither away, and then eventually breaking down. Eros invites her over for some much needed chats, learning a bunch of wonderful things that Hades is dating Meneth and that Persephone isn't a virgin anymore. Which leads to the second disclaimer in this video. For this video, and probably the rest of the series, there will be a portion of a video containing themes of sexual trauma that may upset viewers. When Persephone shows her feelings towards Eros, we see him break down. And remember, this will have themes of sexual trauma. Persephone, that's rape. Listen. No one should be able to come into your bedroom, wake you up and... Sorry, I'm really upset for you. You don't just get to nag someone into having sex with you. That's not how consent works. You didn't mess up. Apollo did. Man, we all need a friend like Eros. Eventually letting her sleep over and getting her feelings off her chest. Eros sometimes actively encourages people to break the rules, but often always because it has their friend's best interest in mind. Pushing Hades and Persephone together, even when the scholarship doesn't allow it. Giving Persephone weird advice on how to get with him. Even asking her to do simple things like skipping school to make sure she's feeling better. I'm putting Eros into chaotic good. Someone who's willing to break the rules if it can make someone happy. A confidant, a person, a god, who will listen to your mistakes and help you understand them. And maybe even make a better mistake, something that probably wasn't allowed but will make you happy. Like hook up with your 2,000-year-old boss. A super chill god that is actually super cool and really well developed, the more I talk about him. I'm very glad I got to talk about Eros today. But, like always, thank you for watching.